Hello and welcome to Brutally Honest Level Review with your host, NateFH, the Geometry Dash YouTube series where I give my brutally honest review of levels with no sugarcoating. And in this week's video, we will be reviewing Unknown Void by Alvaro. Remember to subscribe for more level reviews and make sure to comment what level you want me to review and I'll pick one out for the next episode. Unknown Void by Alvaro is an easy game created in 2.2. This is the first of many NCS Gauntlet entries I'll be reviewing. With how many there is, I'm surprised it took this long for me to review one, and with there being so goddamn many, I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't the last I ended up reviewing. I've actually thought about making an NCS Gauntlet entry, and I'm sure a lot of people would like that. Unfortunately, there's one issue. I did not care for any of the songs I've heard. Out of all of them, my favorite has to be Slash, as I can see myself making a level to it, but I don't care enough for the song. What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Unknown Void is one of the many levels that uses Kratos, which seems to be one of the more popular NCS songs for GD levels. The gameplay for Unknown Void does represent the song pretty well, which a good amount of levels struggle with. This can be seen in the first part, as your gravity is super low and being slow all around, making it a great way to open the level up. The next part flows while it has a click sync style of gameplay, which is used in the rest of the level. I enjoyed the two dodge strips as they do bring up the monotony of the click sync a little. The next part also plays well, but it does have some quirks. In my many times completing this level, I've accidentally hit this pink orb before hitting these blue pads, so make sure you watch out for that. And funnily enough, this pink orb with the pad still works with the yellow orb. I wish there was a song here so you don't instinctively click when it looks like you need to. Now, I know that if you do click, nothing happens, but it would make the gameplay more clear if there was, and maybe a platform under it that dropped when you landed on it. You could still have the whole cube falling into the water and popping out bit work just fine, which is pretty cool, although it looks a little awkward, and would be cleaner if this orb was in the center of the planet instead of to the right. Last thing is that this green orb was a little lower than it should, and it kind of makes it easy to miss. The robot part after is a little weird to get used to as it's slowed down by a little, but it's a pretty cool way to end off the pre-drop. This part also contains the one and only coin in this level. I like the way that you have to figure out that the text "believe" is actually solid and fall onto it. It's simple, but it gets the job done. Okay, quick side note. I hate the drop of this song, and I get mad every time I hear it. It's just really disappointing. Okay, now for the drop of level, and sadly, I don't really like the first part of it. It's very autopilot-like, and it's really boring for me as it boils down to you clicking on the beat, but it's not very interesting to the point that it's frustrating to die in. One way to make this better is by using a mix of different timings and click patterns, like double clicks, dash ropes, passive clicking, and adding extra clicks between the main beats to keep the player engaged. Ideally, a part like this would most likely work better with Chip rather than UFO. Sadly, most of this also applies to the cube part right after, but the cube is a little bit better as some of the main beats are patched, which you do need to look out for, and yeah, this song doesn't help for me. Thankfully, the level's gameplay gets better after the drop, which is pretty ironic if you ask me. Both parts play pretty similarly, but I prefer the last part. I feel like the jump indicators in the second to last part make the part more of a blur with them. I didn't even know until my second completion that this small part was a swing copter. I just clicked on the thing that told me to and I lived. It doesn't help that this spider orb babies the play by being way bigger than it looks. I'm aware that they are in the last part as well, but they don't annoy me as much. One thing this part does well is not make it fully click sync, but still sync, which makes it more fun for me. The first part of this level opens up with this cool polygonal-esque part that kind of reminds me of No Skate. The block design gives me City Fade vibes as well, which is good because I quite enjoy City Fade. One really cool detail that could have made these floating rock things pop is that if they had dynamic lighting with the sun thing in the background. This transition to the next part is pretty cool, but the sun thing in the background expanded to cover the whole screen and it'd be very clean. The part that does transition into is pretty cool. I like how the sun thing, which for now on I will call Tim, is pulsing and sending out solar flares to the beat. I never noticed this until working on this video, but I really like the subtle vortex in the background that leads to Tim. Wait, what was that? Did you guys see it? Hold up, replay. Oh no, it's what I thought it was. Minor visual errors aside, this buoy part is pretty cool. It carries over the solar flare pulses from the part before, and it has this really cool stormy atmosphere, but sadly Tim goes away, but fear not, as he appears in the second half of the part. After going through some clouds, you're in what I call the silhouette part, which is probably the most recognizable part, for a good reason. The use of a camera filter to make the player black when in front of Tim is really cool, and the slower gameplay fits the calmer atmosphere that this part has. Something I really like about the drop bars is that they're mostly white when the pre-drop parts are mostly black. It's like you're entering the void, which is a really cool detail. Sadly, the energy that this part could have had is super limited by the song. Like, imagine the drop in this song had the same energy as the drop in the songs used in Cosmos or The End. That would go so hard. but for what the level has to work with, it's still pretty nice. I like the small color pulses in both the drop parts and the eyes opening on this part to the beat. Most of what I said about the first part applies to the second, but I like these square inverted color pulse things. After that, you seemingly exit the void as indicated by the black hole thing in the background. May I add that the overall progression and story in this level is done very well. It's simple enough to be told through deco without needing to watch or play the level multiple times. The post-drop is a good way to end the level off, as it gives you the feeling that you somehow escaped death. Wait, does that mean you canonically kill Tim in the level? Damn, that sucks. Oh yeah, this part is also good in all the ways the other parts are, with the atmosphere and stuff like that. The end screen is pretty nice as well. I like how the song cuts off and it's replaced by some simple howling wind. Music till the wick burns out. Overall, Unknown Void by Alvaro is a pretty good easy game that has some really nice atmosphere and one of the most disappointing drops in any level, but it's not the level's fault, it's the songs. With everything being said, I'll give this level a 7 out of 10. I try my best to not let my negative bias of the song affect my score too much, but that's basically impossible because I'm, well, human.